I have just been on a little bit of a hiatus. I haven't posted a video in maybe a week or two. I've just been trying to find direction. That's all. I'm still here to help women start small businesses and excel in any way that they want to. But sometimes, you just have to stop. Media and social media, and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all these things can be kind of overwhelming sometimes. So sometimes for me, I have to take a step back and just make sure I'm playing the right position, get my thoughts in order. As a wife and a mom and a business owner and an employee and all the different hats that I wear, nurse, time is not always on my side. Okay, so sometimes I just don't have the time to come in and do a video amongst all the other things I'm doing. Sometimes I'm studying. I have been doing a entrepreneurs challenge, like a 30-day challenge for entrepreneurs. So that's taken up some time. And of course, I've just been trying to hear what the Lord is saying to me about my future. So that is the reason for the break. However, I'm back now, and this is going to be a follow-up to the video that I did, I think was my last video, about 7 streams of income. So today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the benefits. As you know, there are many benefits to having a small business or home-based business. When you talk about entrepreneurship and having a small business, or any business for that matter, people often think, the first thing they think when it comes to benefits is like time freedom and money freedom. It takes time though to reach that level. But one thing that you can benefit from straight out the gate, if you play your cards right, are the tax write-offs that can come from having a small business. And before we go any further with the video, I do want to say I'm not a tax professional by any means. I don't have a degree in business. I'm a nurse by trade, and I happen to be a small business owner. So the things that I'm going to discuss in this video are based solely on my experience and my understanding of how tax write-offs work. Okay, tax laws change constantly. Write-offs and deductions change constantly. It can be different based on the type of business that you have, the sector of business that you work in, and all of it is dependent upon a lot of different factors. So I think that everyone should have a tax professional, in particular if you are a small business owner. And I'm not talking about a chain tax store. I'm talking about somebody who knows your name, or an accountant or whatever. I manage my books day to day myself. It's very easy for me. I make a list of what I buy or what I pay for, and then I make a list of the money that I have coming in, and I just keep a running log from month to month. And I do it on Google Sheets. It's Google Sheets, and it gives me charts and all kinds of other things so I can see what my income is versus my deductions. And at the end of the year, I give all that to my tax professional, and she makes it happen. So I don't deal with an accountant day to day, but when it comes to your taxes, I think even as just personally, you need to have a tax professional. But if you own a business, certainly, you don't want to go to a chain. You want to have a professional that can do that. So again, from my experience, I will say I have an LLC, a single member LLC, meaning I am the sole member of my limited liability corporation. Maybe I'll do a video one day on all the different business entities, but right now I have 2 LLCs, and they're both single member LLCs. Because I have a single member LLC, and I'll only talk about my foot care business because I've filed taxes for my foot care business last year. For my new business that I just started, I haven't gone through the tax season yet. But because I'm a single member LLC, I'm able to file my business taxes with my personal taxes. So all of it goes in there together. And it has been a great benefit for me and my family, because before having a business, and my husband has a couple of businesses as well, but before at one point we were owing taxes, and that was not a good feeling to owe taxes. It was a letdown because for many years, we were in the income bracket where we did receive money back at the end of the year, and then we made that shift to where we were owing, and we were kind of shell shocked by it. But I saw a big difference after starting my foot care business and being able to file those taxes, we were able to write quite a few things off. So this video is just going to be talking about some of the things that you can write off from my experience. Again, and I have notes because, again, I'm not a tax professional, so I'll be looking at my notes quite a bit if you see me looking off. Okay, so the first on the list of tax write-offs for small businesses is your home office. Now, I know at one point you could write off your home office if you worked from home, just like you're working for somebody else. For me, I work for a company and I have a home office, and I work for that company out of my office. To my understanding, that cannot be written off. However, if you have a small business out of your that you run out of your home and you have an office in your home, then you can write off a portion of the square footage on your taxes. The second thing is advertising and marketing. When I started my foot care business, some forms of advertisement that are used included like Facebook ads or Instagram ads. I mean, you could be talking about a billboard or a commercial or any of those things. You can write a certain percentage of that off. Business cards, when I order my business cards or flyers, I keep my receipts, I hand it over to my tax professional. Now, I don't know if 100% of that can be written off or if it's a certain percentage, but I know that some of your advertising and marketing can be written off. In the same vein as marketing, that also includes like photo shoots. I have a boutique that online boutique I'll be opening soon. And if I do a photo shoot and I need to get props, I will be saving my receipt and writing at the top of it, photo shoot, and I'll put the date and I'll circle what I purchased and I'll hand that over to my tax professional, as well as putting it down in my log. Marketing, when it comes to gifts. Now, for different industries, you have to be very careful. I used to be a marketer for a healthcare firm, so I know very well that when you're getting money for certain things, you have to be careful about marketing. But for me, as a foot care nurse, I don't take any government money. All my services are private pay. So I can, if I have a referral source, like if I have an agency that calls me and gives me a lot of referrals, I can go over and take them donuts and maybe hand out some pamphlets or hand out some business cards or just a thank you note to them. That's part of my marketing strategy. If I buy them 12 or 2 dozen donuts, I'm going to write that off, give that receipt to my tax professional, and she can use part of that as marketing or advertising. Same thing with taking clients out to dinner within a reasonable amount. And I don't, like I said, I don't think it's 100% that you can write off, but some of that you can write off. Business trips, when you have a small business, you can write off a portion of that. For instance, before I started my foot care business, I had to take a hands-on training. I had to go in and actually perform care in front of a preceptor on patients. That hotel, food, gas, rental car, all those receipts, I gathered them up, and when it was tax time, I gave them to my tax professional, and that I was able to deduct some of that. And we'll talk about, after I go through this list, we'll talk about what deductions actually mean for those of you who may not know. Photo shoot, makeup, styling, any, like my boutique, I'll go back to that. If I need to get a hair piece because I have a certain look that I'm going for a photo shoot, I'm going to write that off. I just bought a pair of Nikes that matched my brand colors to a T for my foot care business. I have a logo and brand colors and all of that, and I found a pair of Nikes that matched, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy them, because if I do a photo shoot for my foot care business, which you do when you have a small business, even no matter the industry, sometimes you have to do photo shoots. People want to see the face behind the brand. When I'm going out to see my clients, I can wear those tennis shoes. I pay for that with my business bank account, and at the end of the year, I'm going to be giving it to my tax professional, and she'll determine how much of that can be written off. Well, I didn't have to have Nikes. They match my brand colors, so it's part of my marketing technique. Your car and gas mileage can be written off, and that for car and gas mileage, there's a certain percentage of mileage. It's like 40 cents per mile or 50 cents per mile. And I'm not sure what the standard is. It's a federal standard, I believe, and it changes from year to year, I think, based on gas prices. But because my foot care business is mobile, I go from home to home to home. I count my mileage from client to the next client to the next client. And then at the end of the year, I turn that mileage into my tax professional, and she will, based on the federal standards of how many cents per mile can be allocated, then I'll get money back for my mileage. And again, it's very specific. It's not like you can just get in your car and drive all over town and then turn in your gas or turn in your receipt and say, oh, I drove 50 miles today, and you don't have that type of business. If you have an internet-based business, like my boutique, once that opens, I won't be able to get mileage back at the end of the tax year. But for my foot care business, I am. And I'm saying that just to reiterate that it's very specific to the business that you have, which write-offs you can and can't use. And I'm just giving an example. Insurance. So my business is insured. I have liability insurance. I pay every month. And at the end of the year, I print out all that I've paid. I give it to my tax professional. And then a portion of that can be used as a deduction on my taxes. Legal and professional fees. So my nursing license, it's, I don't know, I think $150, $175 to renew it every 2 years. Every 2 years, I turn in my receipt to my tax professional, and I get the deduction for that. Business coaching. If you use a business coach or you take a course in business, all that you can give to your tax professional, and a portion of that can be written off if it is related to your business. With my foot care business, even before I actually went into business, like I said earlier, I had to get training. I had to do a hands-on course, and that was I don't know, $1,500 or so. And then I had to take book courses as well. And they were, I think, just like $25 per credit. And I had to have a certain number of credits. And every course I took, I printed out my receipt. And at the end of the year, I had a stack of receipts from the courses that I took online. And I had a stack of receipts of all the money I spent to travel and do my hands-on clinicals. And I handed that over. And even though that took place before my business was actually formed, it was in preparation for my business. I had to have those things done before I could start my business. So I was able to use it as a tax write-off. And it was a lot. It was a lot of money. It really helped when it comes to deductions, or when it came to my deductions. We talked about legal, so insurances, legal and professional fees. If you have a business coach, if you attend a business seminar, if you go out of town for a business seminar and you're a small business owner, then a portion of that you may be able to write off on your taxes. If you go to a lunch, anytime you go to a lunch or a dinner or a breakfast and you're taking out a client, or someone that you're trying to collaborate with, or you're talking business, a portion of those meals can be written off and used as a deduction on your taxes. Trips, networking events, we talked about photo shoots. So all of these things can be used as write-offs. So it's pretty much when printer ink, a printer paper, logo design services, all those things. I save my receipts and I give them to my tax professional. And she doesn't tell me like, oh, I used, you can deduct this percent of this or that percent of that, because they all fall into categories and you can only deduct a certain percent from each category. And I don't know how those numbers work, but I can tell you that at the end of the year, we were able, instead of owing taxes, we were able to actually get a refund. And it was a breath of fresh air for us after so many years of owing taxes. I want to briefly explain, to the best that I can, because I'm not a tax professional, but I want to briefly explain write-offs or deductions. So pretty much how it works is having write-offs and deductions lowers your amount of taxable income, okay? So let's say you have $100,000 in taxable income, Your tax professional found about $5,000 in write-offs, also known as deductions. So now your taxable income goes from $100,000 to $95,000. And that's how it works to your benefit, because we owe taxes based on our taxable income. So the lower your taxable income is, the less taxes you have to pay. So you go from being in the red, right, owing taxes, to having deductions, and the more deductions you have, it lowers your taxable income. And then you get out of the red and you get into the yellow, meaning you don't owe anything, but you're also not getting anything back. And then you get more deductions. And these are business deductions and also the other deductions that we have just in life. And then you get into the green. Having a home-based business can move you. For me and my family, it moved us from red to yellow to now being in the green and actually getting a tax refund. And what, tax refund, that's money that you can use to put back into your business, or add on to your home, to put a down payment, or to work towards a down payment on a second property or whatever. It's always good to get a refund if you can get it. That's more money in the bank for you and your family to use use it however you please. But I just wanted to come on and share with you some of the benefits, one of the greatest benefits to having a home-based business, having a small business, which are the tax write-offs. Just briefly, I'll talk about how I came to realize that a lot of times we go into business and we want to be full-time immediately. We want to reap the benefits of all that we've sowed into our businesses, and we want to do it within a year, within 2 years, and we have these goals that we want to achieve. But what the pandemic has shown me is it's okay to be a small business, to just be a small business. It's okay to just work it part-time, to just have a part-time small business. Even if it's not bringing in $70,000 a year, if you have a LLC like I have, there are benefits to it. It can put extra money in your pocket, and then it can help you, in cases like this with the tax write-offs. Like, there are still benefits to having small businesses. And I realized that with the pandemic, when I wasn't able to get out and work in my business as much, and I kind of took a hit, my eyes were open to the fact, like, no, keep your business, continue to work in it, continue to market, be wise about it, because even if it's not bringing you in a certain amount of money, or you're not hitting that goal, it's bringing you in something. As long as it's not costing me anything, and in my case, it's not costing me, I'm still in the green, but there are other benefits to it. We talked about in my last video, the multiple streams of income. Having a small business, one of the great benefits is something shaky happens with your full-time job, you still have your small business that you can fall back on and work it like it's a full-time job, and you could probably grow it into a full-time job. But another benefit, a great benefit, are these tax write-offs, because it can help move you into a different tax bracket and get you some money back at the end of the year. So I just wanted to come on with that helpful hint. Hopefully it is positive to you. It's news that you can use, because sometimes people, they're not making the money that they think they should make in their business, and they start to wonder, okay, what am I doing this for? So, this is something to take into consideration. Again, if you found this information helpful, please like it and please subscribe. I gotta go do a photo shoot now, guys, for my boutique. So more to come. All right, peace and love, guys.